Hi, Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries, September 16th to the 30th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Please go back. Okay. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So at our bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At the bottom, we have the Chariot. So if we have Cancer energy within our chart, that's going to be coming through, in our natal chart, that's going to be coming through very powerfully at our root. And then we have Judgment. And that's a rising out of darkness, but it's also a looking and evaluating our own hearts and our own desires. At our inner self, we have the Two of Air, the Two of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but I love the depiction of the lungs right here. It's like I am seeing the power of my voice in a way that I have never seen it before. And that's really what we're going to be, that's what we're going to be stating for ourselves. And then we have the Six of Fire, the Six of Wands, there's celebration and success. There's also a bit of connection with the spirit world, so that's going to be really beautiful. In our emotional selves, we have the Nine of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. So there's intensity within the heart, and it has to do with vampiric energy trying to pull us away from the place that we actually want to be. And God, Source, Spirit, however we see the divine, the universe, is really opening up the door to say, this is your passion, this is what you desire, this is what you're born for. Let your heart be light. And that's going to be a recurring theme during this time. How light is your heart? How opened are you to your emotions and your desires, and where it is that spiritually and sensually and purposefully you need to stand? In our public arena, we have the Four of Pentacles again, that vampiric energy coming through. But this one's a bit different. Oh, I like this depiction. Then we have the Death card, which is Capricorn energy. If we have Capricorn within our natal chart, it's going to be coming through very powerfully within the public arena. But there's, oh, not Capricorn. The Devil is Capricorn. Death is Scorpio. So if we have Scorpio within our natal chart, that's going to be coming through very powerfully within our public arena. But there's going to be this transformation. And out of like darkness and decay comes a powerful rebirth and purpose and dedication forward. It also makes me think of the Tibetan sky ritual that's going to be here, like that happens when people pass, and that's going to be a sense of going back to the earth, but also being able to embrace the sky. Then we have the Two of Cups, healing, beautiful love coming forward, love, connection, understanding of self and what we desire and where it is that we want to be. Now, the energy we need to be mindful of during this time, angels and spirit guides show me clearly, guide this reading and show me clearly, is the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is also a sense of really being mindful of the words that we speak. This is for us, we need to be mindful of our words, of our thoughts. They're actually going to have a greater power than we think they are. We're going to think, oh, that's just something I said it out of anger, or I said it out of frustration. No, Aries, we have to step back and realize the power and the presence of our words. This also brings us to a place with others where we can look at people and say, oh, well, they have to know, right? They have so much going for them, or there's so much that is adding to their existence. They have to understand. They have to have the right idea of things. I'm going to listen to them. And their ideas might be right for them, but they necessarily may not be right for you. So if their words seem harsh, or if we are having our insecurities really poked at too severely than what we're ready for, it's like, okay, wait, I'm not there yet. I haven't healed enough to be able to step up to this plate and to really embrace what I want from my life. Then we have to kind of step back from these people, and we also have to be mindful of the way they can manipulate way they can manipulate us, because there can also be the sense where they speak truth, and that's going to be a thing. We like people who speak openly and honestly, straightforwardly, kind of get to the point and keep on going. They speak a level of truth, but they warp it. They warp it to make you feel as negative about yourself as possible. And that's going to be something that we need to be mindful of. We need to be mindful of the power of our words, the power of our inflections, the power of our voice. And that's for ourselves personally, Aries, but that's also for others. We need to be aware that the power that their words have, and not to let that power really be too intense within us. It moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. And it moves us to psychic development. Now, this is the third eye chakra really opening up. We are entering into a place of development of ideas, of understanding, of being able to see things more openly and more honestly for ourselves, for what we desire, and for where we need to be. The third eye opens to a place of power. And as we embrace this place of power, as we start to see, we are able to say, I'm developing. We might not want to say psychically, we might want to say intuitively. It doesn't not matter how we want to name it. But there's a sense here of having to listen to our gut, having to listen to our instinct, that little voice in our head that says, oh, be careful, you're going to spill that cup of tea. And then 5 seconds later, you turn around and spill that cup of tea. So just be mindful of this, because you're going to have a lot of those moments during this time, Aries. And we're going to want to puzzle it out and say, why? It has to be like this or it has to be like that. It's like, no. Let me just embrace the power that is coming in. Not try to quantify it right now, but just to live with it, just to embrace it, just to understand it. And it leads us to the Chariot. It leads us at our root to rising to new heights that our hearts weren't necessarily prepared for. It brings us to a place of beauty. It brings us to a place of connection. It brings us to a place of rising above doubt and fear, negativity, hurt, pain, disappointment, anger. And as we do so, we say, this is me. This is what I want. This is what I developed within my life. This is where I stand and why I stand here. And as we embrace the Chariot, as we embrace rising above the darkness, rising above the doubts and the fears, we also embrace the power of our hearts, the purpose of ourselves. And as we're starting to see our hearts and ourselves in a much more open and honest way, it leads us to judgment. And judgment can be a bit intense, because here we have Anubis judging the hearts of man. And that's what he did when you passed, right? When anybody passed. Anubis, the ancient Egyptians specifically, he would judge the hearts against the feather. And if our hearts weighed more than a feather, we were not allowed into paradise. And you might think harsh, and also logically, your heart will never weigh less than a feather. But it's not the weight of an actual heart. It's saying, what do you carry? What burdens do you carry? What sorrow do you carry? What hurt? What pain? What disappointment? What is carried within you that is keeping you from the place that you need to be? From having a light heart, from having a joyous life. What is the sorrow that is weighing you down? It moves us to the Two of Air. And the Two of Air is being able to embrace our words, being able to embrace what we desire, want, see, what we hope for within our lives. The Two of Swords And the Rider-Waite-Smith deck always means for me that there is another option opening up. We see the two paths, we understand the two paths, but we're not walking just one path or another. We're opening ourselves up to greater insights, greater understandings, and a new path is coming forward. And that's what we're doing here. We're opening our lungs, we're opening our breath up to greater insights, greater desires, greater understandings. And we're going to start to see that our words shape our reality and our destiny. And as our words are shaping our world, we are embracing the air, the breath that we take in, the way that we express ourselves, what we desire from our lives, and it brings us to the Six of Fire, the Six of Wands. And I love dragonflies. I love the dragonflies making a heart here and flying over the lake. There is a sense here of us connecting with spirit. That's what dragonflies mean to me. They mean connecting with the spirit world, connecting with loved ones that have passed on, that guide us, that help to lead us forward. This is going to be a time where the heart is driven. And it's driven by our successes. It's driven by our passion. It's driven by our guidance of past loved ones or by loved ones. This is going to be a time where we start to see ourselves in a different light. We start to see ourselves as a victor and not a victim. We start to see ourselves as a person who can and not a person who can't. And as we change the way that we view us, as we start celebrating us, as we say, you know what, good job, instead of, wow, you should have done that better. We stop being so harsh on ourselves. We look at our hearts, and our hearts are weighed down. This is why we're being told to lighten them. Lighten our breath, lighten our words, lighten our hearts. Everything is bringing us to lighten our hearts, because if we lighten the words that we speak, we lighten the weight of our hearts, the harshness that we carry. With the Nine of Wands, we're listening to everybody else. Everybody else's opinion, everybody else's way of doing things, everybody else's ideas means so much more than our own. And this is going to be a time where we need to step back and say, okay, listen, I cannot be what everybody wants me to be. I cannot live everybody's life for them or everybody's dreams. I have to live my own. And as I live my own, I embrace my breath and my words and what I develop and who I am. And there's a level of mindfulness that's going into this time that surprises us, that catches us off guard. And it moves us forward to the Ace of Wands from the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is saying, understand you. Not what everybody else wants, not what everybody else needs. Understand and embrace you. It moves us to the Ace of Wands, passion and power and creativity and purpose, shining forward within our lives. This is God, again, God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing us this gift, opening up this door, saying it's time to move forward. It's time to embrace success. It's time to go after what you want. It's time to be more than you imagined. And it leads us to this creative place. Our hearts are going to say, why can't I shine with this fire? Why can't I move myself forward with this inspiration? And it brings us to the Four of Pentacles. Now we have to be mindful of the Four of Pentacles, because for me, this is the vampiric energy card. And we not only have it at the end of our heart line, but we have it at the beginning of our inner self. Not our inner self, our public arena self. Now it changes here. This is more about growth and development in the public arena. But what we're looking at is what has kept us in stagnation. The words, the doubts, the fears that have kept the energy flowing within us the way that it should. Us being able to express ourselves the way that we need to, the way that we want to, the way that we want to step into our power. And so with the Four of Pentacles, we're finding our balance again. We're looking at the energy that drains us. We're looking at the vampiric energy that is around us, whether it be from people, whether it be from, whatever we're watching or reading, whatever is going into our mind space. At this time, we have to be very aware of it and say, there's power and purpose to me. It's kind of like when you're trying to lose weight, right? Or you're trying to get really healthy. You're aware of everything that you eat, and everything has to have a good nutritional basis to it. Well, this is going to be the same thing for what we think and the people that we surround ourselves with. They have to have a good nutritional basis for our souls. They have to build us up instead of knocking us down. And this leads us to the public arena with the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles is vampiric energy. It's like, I have to hold on to this. But we're seeing here, it's like, I'm starting to let it go. And I'm starting to become what was hidden away, what wasn't allowed to be seen. And so with the Four of Pentacles, what we have gathered starts to transform. What we have gathered in doubts and fears and negativities around money, around success, about the way that we can move forward, starts to transform. We start to grow from it. And we start to see what held us back and why. And we start to see the way that we need to move forward and how. It brings us to the Death card. It brings us to the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, this tenacious understanding that I'm supposed to fly high, that I'm not supposed to be the same person I was when I started out. Now, sometimes this is upsetting. Sometimes this is not upsetting. Sometimes we realize that there's greatness within us. And sometimes we think, wow, things were so much better when. Here we are coming to the understanding that everybody enters into a different season, a different time, a different place, a different set of gifts, and a different way of why. And as we enter into this new season, as we embrace this heart, as we understand ourselves, we transform. And that's what death is. Death is transformation. And this is the time where we embrace our own transformation. We see ourselves stepping forward, moving forward, and going after something greater than we had imagined. It leads us to the Two of Cups. It leads us to the healing, beautiful love, unity, success, coming together, being able to embrace our hearts, our souls, and ourselves, and be filled with more than we imagined, and be more than we imagined we could be. Here, it looks like the 2 cups are just forgotten, but they're not. They're filling with stones that have shrunken away to sand. They're filling with transformation, and they're becoming part of the ocean bed. They're becoming part of the waters that purify our air, and of a depth that we don't always understand. And that's what we have to see with our hearts. There's a depth that we don't always understand, and that's not a bad thing. It leads us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's the death card. So we have it as a blessing. We have this transformation coming in, but we have to be very mindful of falling into kind of sneakiness, of having other people around us be sneaky, of looking at things in such a certain way, but not realizing that we're not sharing that perception with others. And so we can think, why don't they understand? And it's because we're doing such a, turnabout that it's hard for them to see. And at times it can even be hard for us to see the game plan, the power, the purpose, and the drive forward. We also very much have to be mindful of people who are sneaky, of people who say one thing to our face and then go in the shadows and do something else. Don't be so trusting during this time, Aries. You don't really have too much of a problem with that, but this is just saying mind naivety, okay, during this time, or mind giving the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't mean that we have to be harsh or cruel or angry or anything like that. It's just kind of like trust everyone, but brand your cattle. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that's divine wisdom. That's the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. It is raining down on us, bringing us wisdom, insight, ideas, passions, powers, understandings that we had not had before. This is a time where doors start to open, and we see things in a light and in a way that brings us more than we could have imagined. If we're willing to embrace this divine wisdom and not poo-poo it. It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy. That's the Fool. It's time to follow the journey. It's time to go after what our hearts need, what our souls need, who we are, and why we're here. It doesn't matter if nobody else understands. We're not living for them. We are living for us. This isn't saying to skirt our responsibilities. Our responsibilities are important. I very much believe our responsibilities make us as human beings and individuals. What this is saying is that I open myself up to being able to follow a path that others do not understand. I'm not fitting in with the crowd. I'm not being a sheep. I am being boldly and powerfully and purposefully me. And as I embrace being me, I am going on this adventure. I'm going down this rabbit hole with joy and curiosity. And we have to remember that every single hero starts off as a fool. Every single inventor, innovator, creative, person that people say, wow, I can't believe you made it, started off as somebody who was mocked, ridiculed, and not understood for their innovative thinking. Do not let others' words impact your heart, impact your belief within yourself so much that you do not go at your very root, after the dreams, after your desires. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, and that is the goddess of earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We're connecting with the earth. We're seeing the richness that it brings forward, the transformation that it gives us, the sense that there is more here than will ever meet the eye. And as I embrace this power, I embrace the land of milk and honey. I embrace the powerful transformation, the wisdom, the intensity of the evolution of civilization in different climates, different places, to power, to bring me insight, to help to guide me forward. And it brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And that is the Eight of Wands. Everything starts speeding up. Everything starts changing. And as we are embracing this change, we're kind of actually swept up in this change. Let yourself move forward in it. Let yourself see where it takes you. Don't think, no, it has to be this way or that way. Let yourself see what happens, what transpires. Go along for the ride. You'll be surprised, emotionally, passionately, where you end up. But there is going to be the sense of, I fight this change because it's not what everybody else expects of me. In our public arena, we have the high priestess. The veil is being lifted from our eyes. Something beautiful is being created, and not everybody is going to see it. A spider web is beautiful, but a lot of times when people look at it, they get freaked out. And so here, as the veil is lifted from our eyes, as we see things more intuitively, more passionately, more purposefully, more desiredly, or not desiredly, it's like more of the desire, like the way things are actually playing out, not the way that we wanted things to play out. That becomes important. We start to embrace our success. We start to look at things with honesty, integrity, determination, and move ourselves forward in a way that we hadn't anticipated. It can be overwhelming subconsciously to have this sense of, oh, I can't trust you, or, oh, that person isn't who I thought they were. And that can be upsetting. Trust that gut instinct, though. You're going to be on point, Aries. Okay. All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power of our voice, the determination of ourselves, and the cleansing of negativity that has held us back for too long. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.